Coraline. Now, just a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, but the fact that they're not making a Coraline 2, I really don't care anymore. Like, I'm just gonna point out everything that doesn't make any sense to me. The way where I was going with this, I was already on a tangent. I'm just gonna continue. So, the cat helps her find the snow globe. We'll get back to that. And whatever, she defeats the other mother. She goes back home. Now, Coraline sees that the snow globe is broken. All right, cool, whatever. The parents come home. They don't remember anything. Now, what's weird is that obviously she sees them. She sees the snow, like, melting or whatever. It was just kind of like something where I was like, oh, it must be melting in real time because, like, they just came back. But then it kind of showed, like, they didn't know what she was talking about. Like, this was just kind of like an illusion type of thing. So I was like, okay, weird. Like, they don't remember anything. But why don't they remember anything? And what's really strange is, like, were the parents under some mind control? Because Coraline had the doll watching her, and she was going to and from, and she remembered everything. The parents had the doll watching them, quote unquote, got kidnapped or disappeared however they did. That was never explained. And they come back home somehow, suddenly, and meanwhile, mom freaking food spoiled on the table from the groceries that she bought. Like, you think she would walk in the house and be like, yo, what's up with these spoiled groceries that I literally bought? Like, how do I not remember this? Whatever. So I thought that was really suspicious. But yeah, so that doesn't make any sense to me. So Coraline can remember everything with the doll watching her, but the parents had the doll watching them, somehow went missing, came back. They can't remember anything. That's weird. But anyways, what I was talking about earlier. So the cat. Now, had this epiphany, didn't even think about it because I was literally trying to go on a tangent about the parents. But then upon talking about that, when Coraline goes to the other world and then she starts realizing that things are getting bad, when she's wearing the star sweater, when her mom, the one day that the mom wasn't there, for whatever reason, I don't know, I don't really think that we get any information about that either, but I don't know, she could have been kidnapping the parents, allegedly, who knows. But when Coraline goes back over there and then stuff goes bad and then she's like, ooh, I don't want to stay here, like they try to convince her with a butt knife, she's like, I'm leaving, like whatever the case, like I'm not staying here, you really have me messed up. Boom. I don't know. She got creeped out. Oh, yeah. And then she woke back up and then she saw that she was still there. So it was kind of like, okay, this is getting weird. Which is also kind of strange because it's like, how did you go to sleep and then you still woke up there? I don't know if it was the mother locking the door. No, because she didn't do that until later. So yeah, I don't really know how that works either. How does Coraline go to sleep every other night and then wake up back in her original house? But then the night that everything went bad, she went to sleep and she woke up in the same house. That didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, okay, so how does this stuff work? How does this weird time travel thing y'all got going on work? But whatever. So, whatever. She's like, oh, this is bad. Let me get out of here. YB, fast forward, YB, the other YB helps her get out of there. She goes back home. Now, let me just get a sip of water because this part makes no sense to me and I just came up with this right now. Boom. So, the cat. So, Coraline goes home. She's like, oh my God. Sees the mom's spoiled groceries sitting on the table, indicating that the mom was obviously there, went to the car, saw that the phone was in the car. First of all, the car was there, like, saw the car was there, so, like, obviously, car's there, I'm saying the mom obviously, came back. Phone in the car, suspicious. Now, I forget at what point the cat pops up, but the cat popped up. Boom. Now, there are 3 cases that make no sense when it comes to her parents. Boom. So, the first one, whatever, they go to the parents' room. The cat went under the bed. I think the cat motioned, had Coraline follow him to go to the room. The cat finds the doll that the other mother was using to spy on the parents. Okay, 1. The cat found it, though. The cat. It wasn't Coraline. It was a cat. Whatever. So, the other. Coraline's sleeping. The cat wakes her up. The cat wakes her up. Right? Yeah, okay, I said it right. And then the cat, guides her to the mirror where the parents are on the other side, freezing, telling her to help them. Okay. Once again, another thing that the cat is telling her to do. Interesting. Boom. Fast forward. Coraline's like, oh, I gotta go save them. She's in the portal, crawling back. The cat's talking about you do realize that, what did he say? You're walking right into a trap. And it's like, well, duh. Like, what's she supposed to say? Like, oh, yeah, you're right. Let me just go back. Like, what? Like, okay, let me just go back, to being parentless. She defeats the other mother for the most part. And then, whatever. They're just, no. It was, what part was that? It was when, she was like, they're behind that door. Like, she's like, oh, I know exactly where you've hidden them. They're behind that door just to get the other mother to unlock the door. The other mother goes over there. She's distracted for a little bit. And then Coraline's like, "Mom, Dad, where'd she hide you?" Once again, the cat was like, "Oh my God, they're right there." It's like, so the cat found the parents. Like, how did the cat know where everything was? I love how Coraline had no idea. Like, if it wasn't for the cat telling her where everything was and like showing her all of this is the third time where the cat found something that Coraline didn't. That's suspicious. That's weird. Whatever. So I just came to that right now. I'm like, I love how the cat knew everything. He knew where the parents' doll was. He knew where how did he know to like look in the mirror? Like, I don't know, maybe a cat, like, I know cats have like a sixth sense or something, but that's just suspicious, dog. Not to mention, he's talking about, I've been coming here for a while, and the other mother hates cats. It tries to keep me out, but she can, of course. Like, literally, what are we getting at right now? So then that just begs the question, like, first of all, how long have you been coming here? Have you witnessed any of the other kids, like, get lured here? And, like, do you know like who the Beldam is, like where she came from? It begs the question, like, how much does a cat really know about this other world as a whole? Like, because you just kind of get like this very like, for lack of better words, just kind of like weirdly calm vibe about the whole thing when it comes to the cat. It's just kind of like something that he's used to. Like, this is normal for him. When in reality, it's really not. And something that I find very interesting is that when he peeped that Coraline was going to the other world, even when, wait, did he know that she had the doll? I don't remember. But what was that? The conversation that YB and Coraline were having, and he was like, um, my grandma's sister, the one who disappeared, she said she was stolen. And then the cat looks at the doll. What I find interesting is that there was never a point where the cat like took the doll and got rid of it or did something to prevent Coraline from going there. He just kind of like was there one day and was like, just subtly telling her things like, you think this world is a dream come true, but you're wrong, and maybe she just loves something to eat. Like, he wasn't outwardly just saying, like, dog, like, you're in danger. I've seen this happen before. I've been coming here for a while. Like I said, like, I've seen people get killed here. Like, I don't think you should be doing this. Instead, he was just, like, saying, like, some very vague nothings that wouldn't really persuade anybody, especially, like, a 12-year-old girl. Like, she was mad young. I feel like people forget that Coraline was, like, a kid, So it's just, like, dog, really? Like, really, that's what you're telling her? Like, okay, who wouldn't listen to that? Like, boy, anyway. And then, not to mention, he chose to tell her that when everything was already going bad. I think this was honestly at the point where she couldn't even, she was already trying to escape at this point. So it was like, wow, your timing is impeccable, bro. Like, with your, whoa, you're really on top of it. I would be dead by now. Anyway, so this is the other thing. The neighbors. Oh, sorry, I was thinking about the scene in the movie where she was like, the food, the garden, the neighbors. It's all a trap. Anyway, so the neighbors. Okay, so the neighbors in the real world. Now, wait, or should I be talking about the grandma? Well, the book and the movie are very different. In the book, YB and the grandmother never existed. So I guess I'm just gonna be referring to the movie, especially if they do make a second one, which I saw that they're not, but I'm still gonna talk about it as if they are, potentially. If they were to make a second one, then no. If they weren't going to make a second one, then I need to just let this out. Like, I need to say this part. As far as the neighbors, now, I think it's safe to say, because in the book and the movie, it does mention Miss Pink and Miss Forcible being showgirls when they were younger. And the kids that went missing, it's very interesting because I would like to know what year each kid is from. Like, it's so interesting because Miss Pink and Miss Forcible have been living there for a long time. And in the book versus the movie was just kind of like they're two, like, whatever old ladies, But honestly, like, I don't know. I just find it so interesting that they had the very thing that Coraline needed in the other world. It's like, y'all really knew some stuff, didn't you? But you just didn't say anything. Anyway, so in the book, it is a little bit more obvious that they knew something was going on pertaining to the other mother, because there was one point in the book that Coraline goes through all this crap. There were a few changes, that didn't, whatever. The ending of the book comes and goes. And then Coraline, I don't think she did this in the movie, but she actually gave back the looking glass, or however you call it, gave them back the looking glass in the book. And she gives it to them, and they say something to her, and her response was something along the lines of, I don't know, they might have been like, oh, thank you for giving this back. And she said, yes, I saved my life and a lot of others' lives. And their response was like, oh, okay, thanks, yeah, bye. And it was like, what? Like, y'all not gonna ask her any more questions? Like, she literally just told you some stuff. Like, she really just told you some stuff, and y'all just like, okay, thanks, yeah, bye. Like, I'll be like, sweetie, what do you mean by that? Like, why would you say something like that? Like, just something like, what happened? Like, why are you talking like that? Like, they didn't even think to like get more deep into that. So I thought that was suspicious. But then, like, that's just the book. But the movie, she obviously doesn't give it back. But also, it's just the fact that they've been there for a while. So it begs the question, like, were they there when any of the kids went missing? Do they know anything about like this this other world type of place or anything like that? Bobinski, I'm not really sure how long his character's been there. They don't really specify that. Not really giving. I don't know. He might have been there for a minute, but just in general, it would be interesting to know how much the neighbors did or didn't know about the uh disappearances of all these kids in this house, and you guys are choosing to stay here. Like, that's very suspicious. But whatever. So in the movie, unlike the book, I'm not Coraline. YB, the grandmother, don't exist. Okay, whatever. Boom. Suspicious. The only reason I say suspicious is because in the beginning of the movie, YB was talking about some. Okay, I might have to pull it up because I don't remember the exact way he said it, but he said, "Oh, I'm surprised they let you move in. My grandma, she owns the pink house and has rented to people with kids." I think that's what he said. Now, there were three things that I thought were strange about this, or three possibilities. The reason why the grandma started renting to people with kids again. Because as he said, I'm surprised they even let you move in because you're a kid and, she's rented to people with kids. And, based off of that, we can just assume that those are the kids that went missing and ended up, appearing in the other world when Coraline went. So the three possibilities that I was thinking was the grandma really needs to, sell that space. Like, so she either needed the money, she got over the fact that, like, oh, it's been long enough, like, my sister, or these disappearances, it's been long enough since I've sold this house. Like, I just, I don't think that, this is happening anymore to kids. I'm just going to sell it, like, whatever. She just kind of got over it. And then the third possibility, which is what I originally thought, was that she sold it with another family with a kid to see if the kid would go missing again. That was my original thought until I thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, because this is when I originally thought that YB said, my grandma, she owns a pink palace, and kind of alluded to the fact that she doesn't rent to people with kids. Yeah, because I was thinking that the grandma's sister went missing after the other two kids, so it wouldn't really give her, it would give her a reason to not just kind of continue like having the house being sold to anybody with kids. She would probably think like, okay, this is obviously like a pattern. This house is cursed even before my sister went missing. So yeah, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I was thinking that, she waited all this time and she was just kind of like, okay, screw it. Like, if I've had too many years of unanswered questions, I'm just going to sell this house to another family with kids and see what happens. And Coraline was essentially just kind of like the test dummy and or scapegoat to, just see the possibility, like, is this going to happen again? So that was my original thought until I had to rethink the way that it was phrased, because I don't know if he said she didn't rent to people with kids or she has rented to people with kids. Now, if she hadn't, or she had rented to people with kids, then I don't really know why she would do that again. It just kind of begs the question of, like, why would you do that? Like, obviously there are the other two possibilities, like she really needed the money, or she just she's at an age where she just kind of doesn't believe it anymore. It's kind of like, it's been so many years that it's not going to happen. Because at this point she was like in her 70s or 80s or something. Like, she was really old, so she probably just kind of gave up that, possibility. But maybe she didn't. And maybe she was on some, I'm going to see if it happens again. And by this point, everybody will see that I was right kind of situation. So, oh, and then there was like something that I read really quick that said that the Beldam isn't dead. Obviously, based off everything that I just said, I think that she is, because, you know, she wanted Coraline, she didn't get her. She was deteriorating. She was, literally turning into scraps of metal and, just turning into a spider. She was deteriorating. And I think that, that her hand coming out of the door and trying to kill Coraline was like a last ditch effort. I do find it strange though, where I think that if a movie was going to be remade, it would low-key make so much sense for a Coraline 2 to come out, which I low-key thought that I saw a long time ago that they were making another one. Kind of find out, I guess they're not. But whatever. So it would make so much sense. There are so many unanswered questions. Like, the cat's backstory. Like, where did the cat come from? He said that he's been coming here for a while. Okay, buddy, how long? Like, are you aware of the other kids that got killed? Like, were you there when the other kids got killed? Like, you know, have you seen, like, where did the bell down come from? Like, what's her backstory? Like, how did she get here? Like, what is all that? Like, we need to know. Like, why does she do the things that she's doing? Like, what do we, where did this come from? Like, what is the origin story? You know, so the cat is a lot of unanswered questions. Even at the ending of the movie where he like disappeared and whatever, but that was probably just like a cute little touch that they added. But honestly, I'm not at the point where I'm thinking that anything is just that things are just being done just cause. Like, I'm really thinking that everything's done for a reason, even if it wasn't included in the book. Because a couple things weren't, but for the most part, it was pretty accurate. But you know, there were a few things that were a little off. Like, I will say that the well, hold on, like, before I get to that, what was I saying? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, if they were to make another one, if they were, now obviously, because I was in the headspace of like, oh, they're definitely not making another one, so I'm just gonna, just rationalize it in my head, like, well, the Belle Dame, she was deteriorating at the end of the movie, and in the end, when she was trying to, her last ditch effort of trying to get Coraline was, by a metal hand that was already, on its last leg, anyways. Like, she definitely wasn't gonna win that fight, and then Coraline broke it, and then she threw it into a well, and then that was a done deal, whatever. But if you do notice, Coraline, for whatever reason, literally for whatever reason, she wrapped the other mother up in a towel, threw it in the well right next to her house, and not she could like climb out or anything. Not to mention, what did she wrap it up in? What did she wrap the towel in, everybody? The key. Why would you do that? I don't know. But she did that. So if there was any way that they wanted to make a part 2 or anything like that, I mean, shoot, she gave her all the ingredients. It was like the guy that wrote the book, because it was written like that in the book too. It's like the guy that wrote the book was like, hey, if y'all want to do anything with this, and y'all want to make a part 2, here's everything you need. Like, she killed the Belle Dame, but like, did she really though? Because she killed it right behind her house. She threw it in a well right behind her house, and she wrapped it in the key to the other world. Like, so if there was any plot twist of the mother coming back, like, she literally has everything that she needs right there. Like, so, okay. But yeah, okay, so in the book, now, the things that were different in the book, I'm not going to go through every single one because, like, kind of hard to explain. But, and I low-key kind of forgot some. But, minus the one that I think I just kind of explained one of them. But, oh, you know what I think? Whoa. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, before I even get to that, at the end of the movie, I didn't even think about this. At the end of the movie, when Mr. Bobinski says to Coraline, they say that you, Coraline, are a savior, or something like that. And Mr. Bobinski is kind of weird, because he mentions that, and this is what the mice are saying. And then earlier in the movie, he says, when Coraline went through the door for the first time, and he's like, I don't know, he's telling her to wait, and he jumps off the balcony in like that really awkward pose. And he was like the mice are saying, don't go through the little door. And she was like, the one behind the wallpaper, but it's all bricked up. And he was like, so sorry. The mice are a little mixed up sometimes. And I just find it so interesting that he was really quick to be like, oh, the mice are crazy. That's crazy. Like, it's like, sir, why are you so quick to brush it off? Like, what do you... I don't know. You find it's kind of weird in the movie that he was so quick to brush it off. It was like, they're trying to help her not get herself killed. But it's also like they're not flat out telling her, like, hey, the mice are saying don't go through the little door. Like, you might die. Like, you're gonna get killed. Like, this is evil. This is not safe. But they're just giving her, like, subtle hints. And then, in that case, it was just kind of like, sorry, they're crazy. And it's like, like, okay, sus. Okay, weird. And then at the end of the movie, he says that the mice say that you're a savior. But for what, though? Like, that was never specified. He was just like, the mice say that you're a savior. And then in the book, they do the same thing where, I might have to get the book and reread that part. But it was, like, something along the lines of, like, they say that you and Coraline are a savior. But yeah, they never ask her why. Like, I remember in the book, they said the exact same thing. Like, the mice say that you're a savior. But then Mr. Bobinski never asks further questions of, like, why they say that she's a savior. For what? What did she do? Like, sir, you think that he would be having these conversations with the mice? Like, okay, but she's a savior for what? Like, what did she do? Which makes me think that Mr. Bobinski and Miss Pink and Miss Forcible knew what was going on in the book and in the movie. Because in the book, they kind of dismiss her, like they they don't really, not dismiss her, but like they don't ask further questions. And in the movie, granted, they don't, the interaction with like her returning the triangle that she was looking through, I forgot what it was called. It's like they don't ask questions, which leads me to believe that they know what's going on. Yet nobody wants to, help a little kid, which is kind of sus. But anyways, the deaths. So in the book, the deaths in the book, not the deaths, but you know what I mean. Like when stuff starts going bad, and then she has to find the eyes of the missing children. And I think it's important to say that in the book, YB didn't exist, which means that his grandma didn't exist, which means that the sister didn't exist. So that storyline, that whole storyline is gone. Like none of that stuff exists. But in the book, there was I can't remember. I don't know if it was the 2 kids or the 3 kids, but there were the kids, and so whatever. She's finding the eyes for the kids. And the dad's part. So in the movie, they had Coraline, when she's, just seeing all the beautiful wonders, like everything that other mothers set up for her to have a, fantastic time. Where in the real world, it would just kind of be like Mr. Bobinski has like his failing maestro, and Miss Pink and Miss Forcible are 2 fat old ladies that, whose careers dried up and they're just chilling in the basement, just going through dementia. In the movie, obviously that was very much not the case. Like Mr. Bobinski had his mouse performance and it was amazing. And then the dad brought her to the garden, which wink, wink, wasn't in the book, but it was in the movie, and he had the garden. And Miss Pink and Miss Forcible had their, show that was, marvelous or whatever the case. In the book though, everything was accurate. I'm trying to remember what the wonder that the dad made for Coraline was, but I know that it wasn't the garden. But it was the bedroom. It was Coraline's bedroom. So in the book, Coraline, now it's weird in the movie, Coraline's bedroom, that was just kind of like a given, like, oh, like you're here, everything's more perfect, like the bedroom, here you go. In the book, that was one of her wonders. It was her bedroom, the Bobinski and Spinkus Forcible. That was her wonder. That I guess the dad made or for some reason. I don't know why they gave that to the dad, whatever. But so anyway, in the book, when everything goes bad and then she needs to find the eyes, the dad wasn't in the garden like he was in the movie. He was in Coraline's room. So she goes up to her room, and in the room there was this cellar that leads, like, like those cellars where like the latch that pulls up and you walk down. So she walked down, and I don't know what it is, and I'm gonna reference this later. I don't know what it is with these movies, and not movies. I keep saying movies. Whatever, the movies, the books, people not knowing how to turn a light switch on. So she walks down there, and because she knew the dad was already down there, and it was dark, and oh my gosh, this was probably the scariest part to read in the book. But yes, so she's walking down there, and she's talking to dad for a little bit. I'm not really sure, I forgot, this has been months since I read the book or whatever, but they have an exchange, and she's basically saying like, I'm getting out of here, I need the eye. Oh, so in the movie, remember when the dad was trying to like warn her, and he was like, but at the same time his hands were attached to the machine that were trying to like kill her or whatever in the book. But like the dad was really apologetic and stuff, which was really sad. And in the book it's the same way, except so he's 1 minute he's talking to Coraline, he's telling her like, like, I'm sorry, like, the other mother is controlling me, essentially just telling her like he's not in control. And it was like a switch flipped, and he went from like, Coraline, like, you need to get out of here, like, it's not safe, to charged. He full blown charged at her. That was so scary. He full blown charged at her, bro. Charged at her, tried to kill her. And he did this a couple times. And I think at one point, Coraline, like, what did she do? She clawed out his eyes, and it was scary because she clawed out his eyes. Then she's like, bro, like, what is going on? Is she still in this dark room? Like, girl, light switch. Anyway, claws out this man's eyes. Man, she said that she was like, I think she was like in the corner of the room, and she saw him like inching around the room looking for her, like on some like sneak attack, like listening for her, but like, like just like inching around the room, just trying to hear for her so that he could charge and kill her. And it was like, it was insane. So, she booked it, and it was scary because like she's booking it and he's running like right up behind her. She runs up the stairs, she like she slams the cellar door and hits him on the head or whatever. It was scary. She got the eye. I forgot how oh wait, no, I think it was one of his eyes, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot. Whatever. So yeah, she got the eye. That was scary. And then so, in the movie, she goes up to the Bobinski's place, blah blah blah, da 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 da. Then she sees that I think Now this part I don't remember as well because it was definitely scarier. The book is definitely scarier than the movie for sure, for sure. But I don't know. She goes in there, and I guess in this scenario there was his bedroom or something that she went into for whatever reason. Um, and once again, like, it was just his floating clothes, and the mice were underneath it the whole time. But what was different from the movie, and keep in mind, the dialogue is the exact same from the movie. So that is one thing I'll give to the book, or I'll give to the movie. They kept the dialogue very true to the book. Like, it was like almost spot on the exact same. So the dialogue is the same, except they made it a point to mention that it wasn't Mr. Bobinski talking like it was in the movie, where his voice sounded very like morphed and weird and scary. It was the mice. The mice were talking for him, and you could tell because it said all the mice spoke in unison when they were speaking back to Coraline and talking about, we will listen to you, we will laugh with you, and all that stuff that they were saying in the movie. But it was Mr. Bobinski, and I forget the parts where it got like really creepy. I think it was just the fact that like they were just saying everything in the mice voice. I can't remember. They all kind of like scatter. I think when she pulled the hat off or something, or she might have said something. Um, I don't know. Bro, listen. So wait, let me really think about this part. I don't know. Okay. Wait, no. Okay, I gotta go back. So when Coraline, oh my god, I'm so screwed up. In the book, I gotta go back a little bit, back in time. So when Coraline went to Mr. Robinski's show the first time with the other, nope, whoop, sorry, why didn't exist? My bad, I'm thinking about the movie. But trust me, in the book, she went to the Bobinski show, and she went there for the first time. Blah blah blah, da. He finishes the show. She was like, "Wow, that was amazing." He said, he was like, "Oh, thank you," like whatever the case, and he said something along the lines. Oh, he was like, because remember, this is when Bobinski, was one with himself, and the mice were another. He said something along the lines of like, "Thank you so much. But yeah, I'm gonna take the mice to go feed. Would you like to join us?" And she was like, and they mentioned in the book how that made her feel like she thought that was really weird. And she was like, no, I'm good. Whatever. She was just like, okay, weird. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you. And it said that it said that he smiled and nodded very, very slowly. Like, what? Didn't say anything, just nodded and smiled very, very slowly. But yeah, no. So I just thought that was weird, girl. But since we're already on this trend, let me just say one last thing that I found really weird. So at the end of the book, when Coraline's going to throw the key away, in the movie, it was kind of something that she did at the middle of the night when her parents were sleeping, and she was like whistling and walking over there in the middle of the night so that she could just take care of it, and get rid of it. And then obviously, like in the movie, that YB helped her kill it and like saved her life, helped her, save her, whatever the case. Obviously, in the book, it wasn't like that. So Coraline's mom was doing something, and the Coraline was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play with my toys outside," because Coraline was smart. She knew that she had to. Oh my gosh, I'm leaving out so much stuff. Dang, should I even? How long is this? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me think. Okay. Okay. So in the movie, at the very end, sorry, like think about how much stuff I'm leaving out. At the end of the movie, the hand escapes. And it's like immediately after that, Coraline is walking to the well to throw the key away. In the book, it wasn't like that. It was like the hand escaped, but was like lingering so much. Like it was lingering for so long that a whole night went by. And this is after Coraline, had already like saved her parents and all that stuff. She was back. The cat was there, chilling with her. And I think it was the cat that peeped that the other mother was kind of like lingering outside the house, like trying to open up the window to kill Coraline, but then it was getting spotted, so then it would like disappear and like hide behind things. But so it was lingering longer than the hand was in the movie. The hand in the movie like lasted like 5 seconds. So in the book it was there for a minute, and then Coraline had the dream with the kids and and that was very interesting. That was the dream in the book was very interesting. But anyway, so whatever. So Coraline, had the dream. She was like, "Oh my god, I gotta get rid of this thing," like whatever. So, but Coraline knew that the hand was watching her. Like she peeped that already. So then she, in her mind, was like, "Well, so she knew that she had to come up with a plan, to like lure the hand to where she was going, to where it wasn't obvious. So she went to her mom, asked her mom, like, hey, Mom, I'm going to go outside and play. And she said it loud enough for the hand to hear in the book. And she was like, Mom, I'm about to go play outside or whatever. I'm going to go over. I don't know, she might have asked her mom, like, do we have like I don't know how you call it, like a freaking blanket or something. And I don't know, I forget in the book. It was a blanket with like cherries on it or like apples or what did it have, like a fruit on it or something. I just remember it was like something red. But anyway, so, or was it red? I don't know. She asked her mom for a blanket. Her mom was like, or because she used a blanket. Her mom was like, yeah, sure. So Coraline does all this. She says it loud enough for the hand to hear. The hand follows her. So Coraline was playing with her dolls. And I think she was having like a tea party or something. And then I don't know, she might have been like, okay, I have the key, or no, I think she said something like, oh, I'm going to bring the key with me and go play by the well and play with my toys and stuff. So it was just like all set up really interesting. I forgot how this part went. I don't know if she was playing with the key and she had it visible to where the hand saw it. Regardless, the hand did exactly like it did in the movie. It tried to jump at her. She wrapped it up in the blanket, and threw it down the well. Now, I don't know why I felt need to say that. I just wanted to say that because it was a definite difference from obviously the movie. Because in the movie she had help, in the book she didn't. So that's just my whole synopsis, hypothesis, all the things. I don't know. I would just always find it it's 5 a.m. I don't know. I always find a lot of the points in this book strange. And I think another thing that I'm very curious about is what year did each kid die? It's very morbid, but I just find it very interesting that nobody asked any questions. It's not like Coraline asked the neighbors questions of like, so what happened to the kids that were here previously? She wasn't asking those questions, and it's like, fair enough, they're not going to answer a question that they haven't even been asked. But it would have been like nice to know. Just weird. I question the cat. I question the neighbors. I question the cat, the neighbors, YB's mother in the movie, and the Beldam. Everybody's getting questioned. There has to be a significance. And the fact that none of this stuff was ever, solved. And something else I find very strange is, why the other mother never went after, in the movie, why she never went after both sisters. She only went after one sister. Isn't that weird? She only went after one sister. And you think with the sisters being sisters, that they stay in the same room, that it would have been something where she peeped that she left in the middle of the night or something like that. Very strange. But what I also find weird is why the grandma left the key to the small door in the house. Tell me that's not weird. Why would you leave that key in the house? Like, there's just so many things that just like question mark after question mark after question mark. This doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, that was my TED Talk. That was my rant. That was my comparison. That was my, what is this? Period. That's all I gotta say. Meanwhile, this is my room. Hey. Okay, I do a 0.5. Period. It looks cuter at night. I mean, during the day. But yeah, that's my TED Talk.